against my will, I was encouraged to join the Brain Injury Association.
Against my will.
And so through that, I finally kind of understood that I had a brain injury and it wasn't just brain aneurysm.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm explaining it quite.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, because when we were growing up, you think of brain injury like someone had a horrific accident, hit their head really hard, and life was changed completely. When we had, now they're called ABIs, acquired brain injury, instead of TB, traumatic brain injury, I had a hard time with that as well. No, I don't have a brain injury. This just happened. My brain blew up. I used to say my brain blew up.
Yeah. I had a stroke, but I didn't have a brain injury.
Right.
Or I had an aneurysm, but I didn't have a brain injury. But I did have a brain injury. So anyway, did against my will join a support group through them, and it was actually very helpful. And I still find the stroke aneurysm crowd like my people, right? I feel like I can still relate better. But I've had the opportunity to go into colleges, Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland, and share my story with physical therapy students specifically about working.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm explaining it quite.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying, because when we were growing up, you think of brain injury like someone had a horrific accident, hit their head really hard, and life was changed completely. When we had, now they're called ABIs, acquired brain injury, instead of TB, traumatic brain injury, I had a hard time with that as well. No, I don't have a brain injury. This just happened. My brain blew up. I used to say my brain blew up.
Yeah. I had a stroke, but I didn't have a brain injury.
Right.
Or I had an aneurysm, but I didn't have a brain injury. But I did have a brain injury. So anyway, did against my will join a support group through them, and it was actually very helpful. And I still find the stroke aneurysm crowd like my people, right? I feel like I can still relate better. But I've had the opportunity to go into colleges, Ithaca College and SUNY Cortland, and share my story with physical therapy students specifically about working with people with brain injury and speech therapy. How would you have wanted therapists to, deal with you at that point in time? And that's fun for me because that's like teaching to me.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have a whole PowerPoint and I get so excited. I'm such a nerd.
Yeah.
I have a whole PowerPoint and I have I make them write with their toes and make them take their shoe off and write some answers to some 5th grade questions that I have that
That's phenomenal.
And I equate it to this is how it felt. You're embarrassed because nobody wants to take their socks off and they're trying to write, who was the founding father of the, Declaration of Independence. And you're like, of course I know this. No, I don't know this,
Right. That's
that was
fantastic.
the best way I could make them feel like I felt when I went into,
the therapy,
yeah, the neuropsych test. And let's not talk about that. No, we
the
can't.
neuropsych test.
We
My
can talk about the
Lord.
neuropsych test, but it was traumatic.
You really?
I thought
It was insightful for me. I am the type of person that I want to know everything that happened, why it happened, what it means, how I can work with it, change it, whatever. So I'm like a geek like that. So I just wanted to know, okay, am I still as intelligent as I think I was in the past? Do I have any deficits? What exactly are those deficits? And can I overcome them? So it wasn't like I was sitting there looking at those pictures. I did the whole thing in one time. So it was 3 to 4 hours.
I could only handle 15 minutes tops at a time. So
really?
it was weeks for me that we did. We did 15-minute segments and I mean, it was the most exhausting thing I ever felt in my life.
Crazy. Brenda, you should try it.
Well, is this something that you had to do because you're in the States? Because they didn't do this for me here in Canada.
No, you didn't have to do it.
Okay.
I looked into it. I wanted to do it. And they don't just offer them.
No,
Okay.
the only reason I probably had one is because I was at a rehab hospital on the neuro floor, and they had to do some sort of baseline or some sort of test for probably insurance purposes. But
Can I just say, Trey, I really think with all this conversation that we should invite an insurance person on as a guest.
Yes, the
Why?
insurance people. Well, my niece right now is working from home. She works for billing and processing for, I think it's United Health. Yeah, so I know people in the health industry, and they're like, it's ridiculous what goes on.
I know.
It's insane.
Question I have for anybody, like the very first question I will ask a doctor if they're recommending something, I say to them, if I was your wife or your mother or your sister or your daughter, what you'd recommend? Because if you say yes, then I'll go for it. If you hesitate, then I know that's probably not the way to go.
No, it's well, I think it is. I use that same line, like, and usually, you know, if I were your wife or your kid, if I were your daughter, like, what would you tell me, or what doctor would you send me to? That was the other big thing with doctors. And the brain is so different from, you know, for everybody that they're like, so the joke in my family goes like this: it's a function of the brain. It might get better, it might not. Like, we're not sure. It doesn't.
They don't know. They have no idea. It's still a huge mystery for doctors. You know, what do we use? 10% of our brain, they say?
Yeah, I don't know. My experience with the now, you have to know that when I had it done was after my first one, and I was drooling on myself and had no use of my arm and was in total denial. I thought, well, oh my gosh, I have all my long-term memories. Like, I could tell you who my kindergarten teacher was, and I would, like, I thought I had aced that sucker, right? Like, I'm gonna come out of this thing just like, and they're gonna be floored again, right? Which they were. Also,
for reasons that you
but for different reasons.
There were some really significant deficits, right? So now I read at a 5th grade level, and I was just more. I think for me, it was like a pride thing. Like, I was just mortified that they were giving me what I called it the special ed test, right?
Yes.
I would say to them, I administer these kind of tests on my students. We've done them. We've been in IEPs talking about this kind of stuff. Like, you don't need to give this to me, was basically I think it was just very prideful. And then
it's very humbling. The whole thing is so humbling.
Yeah, it's almost dehumanizing, and you're embarrassed. You're like, no, I know I'm more than this. Why are you asking me these simple questions?
I think the beautiful flip side is we then have earned this, like, to use Damien's phrase, the superpower to be compassionate to other people. Because when they're suffering, we know what it is to feel like that. So we're like, you've got this. We're encouraging.
Yes, absolutely.
So when they gave me the results, and he just basically said, you have a brain injury, and I was like mortified. Like, I thought, I've never felt so hopeless in all of my life.
Right?
Like, there's never been a moment in my life where I just truly felt without hope, you know?
Right.
Except for there was like 2 minutes, but then of course my faith like kicked right in, and it was like, okay, we're gonna move forward, and we're gonna do this, and I'm gonna prove them wrong. That was my
proving them wrong.
Prove them wrong, you know?
Yeah.
And I always wanted everybody to know who I was. I don't know why. I just thought that the person I was so much better or smarter, or, you know, like, I just wanted everybody to know who I was. Like, the 21, you know, the status you just read. Like, I was just trying to prove so hard that I am who I was. And it's exhausting.
It is.
And, you know,
and you have no idea that this new version of you might be even better.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, it's like 21 years. At 6 years, I would not have thought that, you know, I would not have thought that.
Well, you're involved with so many things. Yeah, you're involved with so many organizations now, and you do so much to reach out and educate and support others going through it. So you're part of the Brain Injury Association, and you do a lot of work with them in the colleges and such, right? With the therapists. What else are you involved in?
So, unrelated to brain stuff, I did actually go back to work briefly at a library. So I worked at a library because at 25, I just really wanted to like have some sort of the experience of having some sort of career or job.
Yeah.
Or, you know, so I worked in the back office of a library doing their technical service stuff. And here's a good little tip. New York State has a program for people with disabilities going back to work. So I had a job coach through its Access VR now.
Yeah. Yeah. It used
So
to
I
be
had a
vested. Yeah.
used to be vested, yep. So I had somebody helping me, and I would work only for, like, 2 or 3 hours, and I built up to, like, 4 hours 1 day a week, and then I think I added a second day, but, like, Tuesday and Thursday, so I had a recovery day built in
Yeah.
there.
You
Sure.
need that.
So and I still build in recovery days. Let's see,
Mhm.
I do membership for a car club. They're the Saab Club of North America. They stopped making Saabs in 2011, but there's a big group of us that really love the cars, and my husband used to be a technician for Saab cars. So anyway, I do all of their membership stuff,
Oh,
and that's fun.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Fulfills my nerdy, like, office-y mailing out.
Yeah. Everything's in order and
Yes,
you have,
it is,
I
well,
think it's
it's
because you
also
have
nice,
control over it.
it's nice
I
that you have a piece of yourself that's not about your brain, right?
yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah.
nice.
I can
It's
just be
unrelated.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I run registration at their conferences with lots of help and support, and
That's important.
yeah, I like to mentor girls. My neighbor has a horse barn, and there are some girls I know that really love horses, so I kind of they just need an outlet.
Mhm.
My neighbor has horses, she needs help, so I'm over there helping that with that at times.
What?
So but I need a lot of rest in between. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's yeah. And
It's a
not
lot.
every and some days is like today's not the day. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you need that flexibility, and that was my issue with trying to
Yeah,
go back to work.
right.
I did try, but I went through Access VR like you did. And did you have to go through like the 4-day period of evaluation with them where they gave you all those tests? Again, almost like a
Yeah,
neuropsych test.
the neuropsych test. Yes, they did
Yeah.
the testing again. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember going in each day. Now we on Long Island, it was about an hour away from me. Every day it was a drive. So I
Yeah.
would go in, and this finally I was driving. I didn't drive for 2.5 years, and I remember sitting at these desks with other brain injury, other injury, survivors and things, and they would give us like reading comprehension tests, listening, all these different tests, and I was flying through it because I wasn't affected like that. Like my intelligence wasn't really affected. My memory, more of my long-term memory, I think was affected, although it wasn't like officially considered that. But I remember going through it, and they had the whole building set up for rehab to go back to work. So there was like, they had built like a store within this building. They
Oh,
were
wow.
training people to do retail, supermarket setup, all these things. And I'm like you said before, no, I've never worked in retail. I'm not going to retail. Like I was a teacher. I was a counselor. I was in social work. Like to me, and it's horrible to say, but I'm like, I'm better than that. And it was
Yes.
horrible. But again, another experience that's demeaning, and like it makes you feel less than you were. And I remember that being really difficult for me. Like, and then they wanted to send me, it was horrible. You bring up all these memories for me. They wanted to send me to a place to work called Mary Haven, and that's for the really severely affected cognitive, people, but people that were born with these disabilities. So it's not far from my house, but they had to set up transportation. They wanted me to go there to try to work for like a week. And I'm like, okay, I knew nothing about it. So I go there, and first they wanted to put me on a bus because my sister worked full time. She couldn't bring me each day, and yada, yada, yada. They set up transportation. Now, this is sort of a funny story. This is why we say the lighter side of struggle.
Right.
Because the little bus came to my house, the Mary Haven bus, and I got on, and there was deaf people, there was all types of people with disabilities, right? I get on the little minibus, I sit in the way back, and now I'm just like hanging out, waiting to go to Mary Haven. And it was literally, it's like 3 miles down the road. So as I'm sitting there, these two they were deaf, and they were in their 20s probably, and they were on their way too. They got picked up by the bus. They started arguing in front of me in sign language.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it started to get really like, oh my gosh, they're going to attack each other. Here I am in the back of the bus. There's no aid. There's no bus aid.
Right.
And I'm like stopping these two deaf women. And I'm like, because that's me. I'm like, no, stop, calm down. And they don't hear me. I can't sign language.
Right. You don't
So
know what
anyway,
they're arguing
They're
about
just
either.
flipping you off.
Like, my gosh, what am I involved in now? So now I get to Maryhaven, and they introduce me now in the back of the building. That's where they have all, like, the factory workers, like, doing little menial tasks, like packaging and I don't know. There was all these different things. Now, I can't use my left hand at all. So I'm like, I need to find something that I can do with one hand. And I can do a lot with one hand.
Oh, yeah.
But the fine motor skills are very difficult for me. So they put me at this one table. I think I was sorting nuts and bolts or something. I mean, something that, a kindergartner, first grader can do, and again, there's that humiliating feeling like, what am I doing here? Yeah, I want to be challenged. I was at this point, I think I was 36, 37, and I still felt like I can get back into teaching. So I'm like, no. I got on the bus. They drove me home. I looked at my family and I said, I'm never going back. Like, there's absolutely no way. So I went back. I contacted my social worker at Access VR. And I said, no, that's not going to work for me. And they're like, well, I said, you know what you could do for me? Because they have to find something that you can do, so you can be active again and working. So I said, I'm a teacher. Why can't you? Because I was in the process of getting my master's to get my certification when this happened to me.
Right.
So I said, they would pay for someone to go for their bachelor's degree if that was something that was necessary for them to get back to work. They would pay for a bachelor's. I'm like, I have my bachelor's. I said, why can't you just pay for my master's so that I can do it, online or whatever it was and get certification? Then I can go back into teaching. No, they won't pay for a master's. What kind of sense does that make?
Yeah, it's not a perfect system for sure. And I'll tell you, my experience was a little bit different. I got the testing done. They found all the same things that I already knew I had. I got a job coach that I met with, and I was basically like, can you get me in at a library? Because I knew
something quiet.
Yeah, something quiet, and I had one really close to my house, so it was in that familiar distance. And so the first thing, so they did that work trial thing with me.
Yes.
And they had me filing books, and that was okay. It wasn't like the end of it. But I remember walking out of there like in tears. Like I was like, I don't want to just put books on shelves like for the rest of my life. Like it's too boring, and it like hurts my head. Like it's exhausting trying to output stuff.
Yes.
And so they ended up getting me into the back, like tech services department. So I ended up being like entering books into the system and checking cataloging and stuff like that eventually. Right. And with the notebook that had all of the procedures. I had written down myself the procedures. When I do this, these are the things I have to follow. But the first time I went in there to file books, I could tell you the alphabet. Like I could rotely say the alphabet. It was in the right order, no problem. But I could not use it. So I could not actually put things in order.
Yeah.
So I, of course, went home and I was like, tomorrow I'm bringing an alphabet strip. And so I did. So
wow, that was smart.
Like I brought in like a kindergarten alphabet strip because if I could touch the letters and see visually where they were like in relation to each other, because I couldn't do it just like from my head, I could spout off the alphabet, but not really like, I couldn't tell you
what it was used,
I totally lost that executive function. So for me, it's always like sequencing for me. I don't know, like that executive function sequencing, taking a shower, like exhausting. There are so many steps when you have to think about every single thing you do.
So I kind of was hoping that you would say that after 21 years it gets better.
It does.
It does get better. It gets easier.
You know what? In 2022, I got rid of my shower chair. So I had a shower chair in the shower for what is it, 17 years maybe?
Yeah.
And that was really the only way
I'm still a baby in those years.
Yeah, you really are. Bren, I tell you this all the time. You're so early.
Yeah, it really is. It doesn't feel early. It feels like it's been forever. And it feels like, it feels like a lot of things. Like it's never getting better.
The number of days I wake up and say, can I do this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
I asked myself
You
that.
can do the hard things.
Yes.
I know I can. Thank you. And so can you. And thank you for that inspiration, Lisa.
I know you will.
Yes.
And I know
Yeah, you definitely will. And it may be different than what others, how it looks, for others to do it. And it may take longer. But, I still have issues with certain things, but I'm okay with it now. Like, I'm okay with this version that, people have to be more patient with me. And
Right.
maybe they don't get it. And
Right.
Lisa,
you
you
do.
bring up a huge, really important aspect of what we go through, the processing. When you say it affects our processing, people don't really understand what that means. And just the fact that you knew your alphabet, but couldn't take the books with the titles and put them in the right order, that's the processing we're talking about. Those are different functions of our brain that make those connections to make the job happen. I mean, never mind breathing and all the unconscious things we do that's been affected, but then the things that we want to do, like you said, a shower. Think about what that entails. The muscles moving just to step over the tub. I remember we didn't have a shower stall. All of those things, it takes effort. And then I remember my sister saying to me after a shower, I would put on my towel and I was freezing. The bathroom was across my room. I would get back into my room, get under the covers, like 4 blankets. I was freezing. And I realized that my temperature regulation was off.
Yeah.
And then I would go to sleep for 2 hours. And she's like, all you did was take a shower.
Showers definitely require naps, like shower nap. Now, I'll tell you that I still don't take showers in the morning because if I, the shower is still, it's a big deal, but it's not quite as exhausting. I can take a shower. I take a shower at night and usually then go to bed, but I still don't take showers in the morning because that just throws my whole day off. Have you ever heard of the spoon theory?
Oh my gosh.
We actually have the guest that is going to come on to talk about it, but yes, absolutely. It uses a ton of spoons. Absolutely.
So I'm not willing to use all of my spoons on a shower in the morning.
Right.
I'll use whatever's left at the end of the day to maybe take one. And, sometimes I just wash my hair and that's what I do, but you learn how to manage things better, right? So if I had lots of time in the morning, so if I got up and I had lots of time, I could take a shower and get ready and probably go do about my day. But if there was any sort of time limit you had set, or I had to get to work, or I had to do something at a certain time, then that would be my day.
No, I totally get that. And still, I don't know what it is about the shower.
I don't know either, but all I wanted to hear.
Maybe it's the water. And I remember trying to wash my hair in the beginning. And when I got rid of the shower bench, it was probably a year or 2 later. I was determined. I don't need this thing.
Oh, you're good because I was 17 years with one. It was just
see, that's good. But I lived in a house with my family that they didn't need it, so it became a chore. Take it out, put it, in space. Where do you put it? So I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. So I finally got it up, but I needed the sticky things in the tub. I would hold on to the windowsill. We had a window in the shower. So all those things. But then I noticed, as I'm washing my hair, of course, I close my eyes and forget it. Once I closed my eyes in the shower, I was like, whoa, like I was on a ride. I had to hold on and open my eyes. I'm like, okay, that's not good. My balance is way off if I close my eyes.
The balance.
So, I don't get it. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And I would forget, well, of course, because you have to sequence, you have to shampoo and then condition and you have to rinse. I'd always forget the rinse step. Or I forget the step of I got my hair washed, but I just didn't do the soap on the body step. And then
that's amazing.
It's so there's so many steps. Tell people articulate everything you do for a shower. And they're just I whip my clothes off and I grab get in the shower. I'm like, okay, you've already you have to think about that. You had to think about taking your clothes off. You had to think about how to lift your leg to get in the shower.
Turn the water on. Turn the water on.
Then you had to think about the judgment. Is the water warm or is it too cold or is it? And that's a higher level critical thinking thing, right? Compare, contrast. So once you figured that out, then you got to know how to flip the middle of the shower thing on, right? Because
yes, this is amazing. You're right.
Yeah. And I mean, I could, we could walk you through a shower, and then you gotta choose which soap and know that it, or
Right.
know
Yeah.
that it's shampoo, and that you do shampoo before conditioner, and that shampoo suds, and that you rinse it, and then conditioner doesn't sud, but you still have to rinse it. And all,
You're so
like
right.
these things that people just don't think about. It's all of this, like,
It's all automatic for them. Yeah.
In fairness, none of us thought about it before either,
No.
right?
No, you just
totally
did it.
took it
It
for
was
granted.
just
Now that
automatic.
we think about it, we're so thankful when we remember to do it in the right order.
And
Yeah.
even like still to this day, going downstairs, like I
Oh
have
gosh.
to think about every step I take, and I have to recognize that you change your gait, right, to go down a
Mhm.
step. And it's less exhausting now to do
Yes.
it because I've done it so many times, but I still have to think about it.
Yeah.
It's not
Mhm.
automatic.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Stairs for me, I have to have a railing.
Yes.
If I don't, I feel like in the beginning I had a railing. My family put a railing in from live in a raised ranch. So I remember holding on, and I remember the first week I got home. Oh my gosh, we had to go to a doctor's appointment. I had to go to a hematologist like 3 times a week. It was horrible. So I went to go take that first step, and my sister was in front of me, in case I fell, but she was pregnant. So I was always so worried about her. God forbid I fell into her. I'm like, Renee, don't stand there. What if I fall? No, 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 I got you. I got you. I held on to the banister, and oh my gosh, I looked down the stairs and I felt like I was falling forward.
Ah.
Right. And I'm like, I can't. I froze. I
Right.
froze. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I can't do this. She's like, you can. It's just take a step. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I can't take that step. I'm going to fall. I'm going to fall.
Right.
My 16-year-old nephew was home. I remember that. And she's going, Robert, get over here and help Aunt Tracy. And I didn't know how he could help me because I wouldn't take that step.
Right.
So then finally he said, sit on your butt. So he got me down, and I was able to go down and got down. Now the outside steps. Oh my God, the
I know, it never
cement
ends.
steps.
Right.
My gosh, there was no railing on the right. So now I'm like, and it was winter. I think we had like ice and snow. And so I'm like, I can't go down these steps now. I'm petrified. She's like, we have to get to this appointment. I'm like, I know I can't move. And I broke down. And so my sister calls my brother at his job. And she goes, Wayne, Tracy's got to get to the doctor, and she can't go down these stairs. What do I do? The railing's on the left. She can't use her left hand. And he's so brilliant. I still think my brother's brilliant. He goes, have her turn around, hold on, and go backwards. Genius, right? Like, how did we not think of that?
It sounds mind blowing to me. Now I have to figure out how to go down a stair backwards. Like,
Right, but that worked.
it worked good.
Because
I'm
I wasn't
glad,
feeling
yeah.
like I was going to fall forward, and
Have
I
you
had more control.
Have you ever tried to get on an escalator? Like, let's talk about the first time you tried to get on an escalator.
Oh,
It was
no,
like an Eddie
elevator.
situation, right?
No, I refused. I did the elevator, and I still prefer the elevator. I can do it now, but
Yeah.
I always misjudge when to
Yeah.
step on.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yep. And it takes me a really long time. Like, I have to stand and like mentally
Count.
prepare myself, and like people are behind you, and that just is making you get like more and more anxious, and you're like, all I have to do is put my foot
I
on
start sweating.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my gosh, people are watching.
and they're gonna think I'm stupid, even though I'm not. I just have a brain injury, and I can't figure out how to make my foot move. Like,
When to move, I would misstep, and like just as the step starts to like turn into the bottom step, you're like, whoa.
I know. I had somebody finally, like one of my family members, just like held my hand and like had to. I mean, the first
No,
time
I couldn't even do that.
I
We
could
would
not
find the
figure
elevator.
out- I could not. It was there were things moving. I couldn't figure out how to move my foot. Like
When to move it, to hold
mean-
on, but that's moving.
like
Oh my
mine.
gosh.
I know, and it's just like the silliest thing.
Right.
Not silly, but
Right.
it kind of is the silliest thing. Like, like I've gone up escalators before. Like, I know how to do this.
Yes. It's just doing it is the impossible.
Yeah, just totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember trying every time my sister, I could only go to a store. We would have one day we did an outing. But this was months and months later after I got home, because I tell Brenda this, I couldn't scan the stores, the shelves, looking. I remember looking for secret deodorant, and there's like 10,000 different types and brands, and I'm like just staring, looking back and forth, and my sister's like, are you done yet? I'm like, I can't find the secret that I want, the baby powder one. And she's like, it's right there. And I'm like, well, I didn't even see it. So then we started going, like, I'm like, all right, let's start going out a little more. This was maybe a year later. So we would go out to like Walmart or something, and forget it. It's just too much, way too much. But then we had a Burlington store that was like in an older building. I remember this, and it had an escalator going up to the second floor where like the baby clothes were, and we were always in that section because she had her baby, my nephew Jake, 7 months after this happened to me. So we were upstairs. We wanted to go upstairs, of course, and I'm like, Renee, I can't do the escalator. But I can go up. I couldn't go down. She's like, all right, there's an elevator. Let's go ask for an elevator. Right. So we find an employee. Now, this was an old building. So she's like, do you have an elevator? They're like, yeah, it's in the back. It's the freight elevator, but we'll let you use it. I'm like, I don't care. Right. We would have to go to the back of the store into this huge freight elevator with an employee every time we went to this Burlington store, go in, pull the things down, and the doors clamp up. And oh my gosh, but I would not go down the steps. So it was always a joke. Oh, we're going to Burlington. Oh, here we go. I hope the elevator's working. And then it wouldn't work some days. And I'm like, oh my God. The things we have to think about.
I know. I think you were exactly what you were saying, Lisa, about having to think about going down the stairs, or Trey, you're talking about getting upstairs. I literally start my day if I have to go to the bathroom because Lisa, I still use my walk. I have to say my biggest fantasy is one day I can get up and not have to think about how to get to the bathroom.
Right. The little things.
We do have to think about these things. But then shortly after that thought is, but I'm here to go to the bathroom. I'm ready to use a walker that I can go. I'm paralyzed. I could be dead. I'm here.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah, it's so hard when you're going through it to remember that, though. You kind of have that. Yeah, you're amazing at that. You're so positive. There was no way when I was feeling like I was going to fall down the stairs, was I thinking, well, I'm here, aren't I?
Right. You know, it feels,
You give me way too much crap, Tracy.
Yeah, it's phenomenal what people don't realize that we go through. And even 22, 21 years later, I still have to think about every step. Coming down our stairs, if I go upstairs and I come down, you know how many times I've fallen in the last 6 months? Not completely down the stairs, but at the very bottom, my ankle would do this.
Yeah.
And I fall forward. And of course, that's the bad side. And I also got my foot run over by a car 2 summers ago. So that added to the injury.
Of course you did.
Just a little thing. You know, just a 4,000-pound car rolled over my foot in a parking lot, you know.
Lisa, you've had a lot of adventures. Have you ever been hit by a car?
There you go. Well, I have not been hit by a car, but I will tell you about shopping at Walmart if I was by myself. And this is, maybe like 15 years post even. Of course, until I found these glasses, which are actually migraine glasses that are tinted and they block out they're from Axon Optic, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And they block out like certain light waves of light.
Yes.
Help with migraines. Anyway, well, before I got them, I would be like full on, like I'd have a hat on to block the light coming down, and I would have the sunglasses on because the hat wasn't just wasn't enough. And I'd be in Walmart and I'd be looking for something, and I have left side inattention, so my brain doesn't recognize my left side. So I'm looking for something, and my strategy has always been like if I touch it and I read it, and so I'm trying to find a certain kind of cereal, so I have to like touch the box and like say, like whatever it is.
Make that connection.
This is Frosted Flakes. This is blah, 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 blah. And I was just having a day one day, and there was an employee there, and I was like, can you tell me, am I really seeing that this is blah, blah, blah? And they were like, they look at me. Now, I have sunglasses and a hat on, and I'm touching cereal. You're undercover. What I think this is really what this is. And I mean, I look so normal otherwise, right? And they gave me like the funniest, look. And I was like, look, I'm sorry, I've had a brain aneurysm, and sometimes I just need a little bit of help, and he husband was very gracious, after they got over the shock of like, is what I'm looking at really what I'm looking at? Like, is my brain processing it properly? Like,
never mind the question you asked, just the looking at you with the hat and sunglasses.
I know. My sister's like, they probably thought you were robbing them to begin with, right? Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, this is so funny, but it's so
I
true.
mean,
yeah.
It's gotten better because now these glasses allow me to like, I can just go out in the world like with these glasses on, which is amazing.
I never even heard of those. That's interesting.
Yeah, I can send
you. Want to make a plug for them in case someone's watching and has migraines? What are they called again?
It's a company. It's called Axon, AXON.
Okay.
And I think they've now turned into, I think they're Avalux now, Avalux Optics. And yeah, I mean, they've literally changed my life.
Wow. Never even heard of.
Yeah. My eye doctor was like, you can't keep wearing sunglasses everywhere you go because when sunglasses stop working, where do you have to go from there? Like
they're gonna call the eye on you.
Yeah, like you have to put on a welding mask and then you're not gonna be able to see anything, right?
Well, I'll have to look up the website and put a link in their description of this.
Yeah, I can send you also a link to Facebook or something.
So,
that's fantastic.
That is a fantastic tip, but do you have one final tip that we can share with people that are watching? I mean, my tip would be follow Lisa on Facebook. Where else are you? TikTok?
I only do I do Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. And you're the same on both of them? LISA?
That's Facebook. On Instagram, I think I'm LISAAB.NY.
Oh, so Saab. Okay.
Lisa.
Oh, that's clever. I like that. Yeah, that would be my tip.
What's your tip, Lisa?
Wear your sunglasses.
Yeah.
Axon optic lenses. They'll really help.
Good tip. Okay.
And I actually have with the company, they're fairly expensive. So I have said, like, if I give you a plug somewhere, like, will you help me with the cost? But
it's crazy.
I mean, they're so specialized, but they're so worth it. Like for me, it's been like a life changer.
Is there anything else like that you would say? Because I feel like I sometimes take for granted certain things that I have, which I know are luxury, but really makes a difference for me, which I don't want to assume everybody can afford to go out and buy. But is there anything else like that you would say it's worth the cost because it's a game changer in addition to your glasses?
My glasses, yeah. I can't off the top of my head, definitely. Yeah, the glasses were an amazing investment. And I actually have these frames are actually they have a sunglass clip, like a magnetic clip that even clips over this. So when it's really sunny outside, and I'm driving, I still have to put sunglasses on to these. And these were a really amazing investment too. I think these are like Eco brand or something, and like the clip just fits right over it, and that was a game changer.
Wow.
I'm trying to think. A good planner.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah,
and here's a tip that somebody gave me about the planner thing is that I had a planner that I would just write down like 1 o'clock doctor appointment, blah, blah, blah. So I knew I had an appointment, but what I needed was a planner that had like the hour like mapped out, like actually like written out so that I could put 1 o'clock and then I can put like leave at 12:30 or whatever amount of time because I was like not able to like I wasn't getting places on time or I was getting there way too early because I couldn't figure out how to manage that thing. And the one thing that they did was like you need a planner that has like it laid out by the hour so you can visually it's like the alphabet thing so you can see visually that like where 1 o'clock falls in the day instead of just writing 1 o'clock and then being like surprise, it's 1 o'clock. Oh no, I forgot that I had to leave,
Right.
Yeah. I use my phone calendar. Yeah, and in there I have to put it and then I set an alarm to remind myself at least a half hour before. I have different colors that I assign if it's because I can look at it whether it's the week, the month, or the year, that type of setup. Right. So I always put it the month and then I have different colors. So for doctor's appointments, it's always red. Physical therapy, it's like a peach color. Social Security payday is green.
Right.
For
Right.
money. But yeah, that's a great tip, because I'll tell you something about the planner. I can write things down. I have so many notebooks. I will forget to look at it.
Yeah. Mine is right on my kitchen counter that I walk by it like all the time. It looks ugly, but I don't even care. Like I walk by it, I look at it constantly. Then it starts becoming like a habit to just like constantly throughout the day, just like check it. And same thing, I set reminders on my phone, like for everything. If you're with me, I mean, it'll go off to eat lunch, it'll go off to take pills, it'll go off for whatever.
That's a great tip.
Lists, the iPhones are really nice. Is I can make like 8 different kinds of lists, like a grocery list, a BJ's list, an Aldi's list. Like so. I have all of my lists assigned. They won't even let me make any more. I'll say, "Hey Siri, add milk to my grocery list." Here's Siri right now adding milk to my grocery.
So what I'm hearing from both of you is, for all of us individually, for us to find the thing that works for us to keep ourselves organized. And for some people, it might be writing. For some people, it might be phone. And just to find the thing that works for you.
Right.
Yeah.
For me, writing is just one more input, one other input into the brain. So like the paper, when I plan, I do electronic, like at a doctor's office. If I'm standing in front of them, I'll put it in my phone.
So I got a phone call and I had to hit end and it stopped recording for a second. So I'll edit that out. But I didn't hear the last thing you said, Lisa, if you can repeat it.
Recording though?
Yeah, your end, but my end it said it stopped. But I'll fix all that in the editing. Okay. But I don't even know. I lost my train of thought. But yes, the whole
I don't remember what I was ranting about. Oh, I know.
About the
I'm standing in front of it, like if I'm at a doctor's appointment and I'm standing in front of them, I'll put the appointment into my phone, but then I'll immediately go home and put like in the writing in the paper one.
Oh, that's good.
I just have it's in my head. It's a system. The writing helps, like it's one more, like brain connection, one more input to solidify.
Right.
No, that's phenomenal. I don't leave when they say, okay, let's make our next appointment. I said, they're like, do you want a card? I'm like, no, I'll lose that. And I put it in my phone and I'm typing away and there's people behind me. I'm like, no, I can't walk away until this is entered and I hit save.
Right.
Because then it's gone.
Right. Because they won't. Yeah. And I ask at least 3 times. You said 11 o'clock, right? It was 11 o'clock, right? Right. Are you sure it was 11 o'clock? Right. You're positive. And then do I have the right time? And then I'll show them my phone. Do I have the right time in here?
And all the day beforehand. Do I have an appointment tomorrow at 11?
Yeah.
I have to look at my calendar before I go to bed to see what I have the next day.
And I used to even have to, like the day before, I would have to sequence. So write down, like put 1, 2, 3, 4 on the activities for my day. Like, because otherwise it would give me so much anxiety. Like I couldn't even like figure out the order I should do it in. So I would have someone would sit down with me and we would do 1, 2, 3, 4 for the order. Yes,
absolutely. Before we go any further, please tell me about your sweet, adorable dog. I see
Pippi.
Your posts. Pippi, right?
Pippi Longstocking. She was named after.
My gosh, Brenda, she's got the cutest dog.
Yes. She is a terrier mix. She's a rescue. And yeah, she's so sweet. She's the cutest. Yeah,
Now, I thought this was like a therapy dog that they gave you, but she turned into your therapy dog.
Yeah, I mean, that was the initial. So the dog that I had 2 dogs, one dog when the aneurysm happened, who would check on me. Like literally when I would get home from the hospital, if I didn't make noise for like 10 or 15 minutes, she would like come out and check on me and make me acknowledge that I was alive. It was the strangest thing. So when she passed away, I was like, I can never say goodbye to another dog again. Like, I'm not getting another dog. I cannot ever say goodbye to another one. It was just way too traumatic. Right. So fast forward like 6 months, I lived without a dog. And my doctors were like, we really think that you have like some clinical depression going on. Like, we really think that you need a dog. Like, it keeps you going. It makes you up in the morning. They make you take a walk. Like, cause I'll do anything. Dog. If my dog needs a walk, I don't care what I'm feeling or what's going on in life. I'll take my dog for a walk. So my doctors were like, "We really think you need a dog." And
Just really?
so
Okay.
I was like, "No, I'm not gonna get one because I'm not gonna have to. I'm not ever gonna say goodbye to another one." But my sister convinced me that that was a little bit short sighted, and for the awfulness that it is to lose one, you still have a good, usually 10 years of good day, right? Like of
Yes.
good
Yes.
memories, good things, and so finally I gave in and I got a dog. It was very, poor me.
Oh,
I gave
so
in.
sweet.
They really twisted my arm hard to get one.
So
Oh, well,
nice.
thank goodness they did, because she is always by your side. She naps with
No, she
you.
does. Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
adorable.
She is adorable. Yeah. And she was great. She was like so bored. She came from a rescue place and her foster family had like tons of dogs and she had like they had a kid and kids that would pet her and she was just used to like crazy and then she comes to my house and it's like nothing. No TV. It's dark. We at the time lived in a log cabin and I liked to like squirrel away in my log cabin. It was dark. I never opened curtains because that was too much light. And here's poor Pippi. She like literally used to chew on her leg. She was
Aw.
so bored. She would just like roll around and chew on her leg. But now now she like at 3 o'clock, she's taking a nap whether I am or not.
Oh, wow.
She has claimed the spare bedroom as her own. So we call that Pippi.
That's great.
So at 3 o'clock
cute.
every day, she's just on the bed just waiting for me to, take a
Curl
nap.
up with her.
And she really hates it when I have a good day and, don't need a nap.
Right.
The highlight of the day is the nap, I think. So
That's phenomenal. Yeah, dogs will do it. Dogs will get you up and going. For me, it was my nephew who was born in July. Like that was my reason to get up out of bed. Forced me once my sister went back to work and I was taking care of him. It was a reason I had to get up. I had to move. I had to make his bottle. I had to, take care of him.
and there's some amount of anxiety about having to be the person. Like, what if it's a bad day, or what if I'm too tired, or forget something, or like there's but it does.
Yeah. You need that driving force to keep you
Yes.
going.
Because
That's the purpose.
you somehow figure it out, right? If somebody really
Yeah.
if that child really needs you, you just suck it up and somehow you figure it out.
Yeah, and I used to nap when he napped. I stayed on the upper level of the house, so his room was right there, and I would just get on the floor and stay on the floor with him and play, and then I was able to lift him into his high chair, and I could change diapers with one hand, and he got to the point in, I guess he was like, I don't know, 5, 6 months, when I would go to pick him up, he would actually raise his one arm so I could scoop my left hand under his arm. He knew as an infant, like, oh, Aunt Tracy's got to pick me up, and he would do this automatically so I could scoop him. Like, it's just, we were such a great team like that. Like, it was just my therapy, and he was such a huge part of my recovery for the first 3 years. And thank God he was my angel. And I tell him now he's 21, and I'm like, you were my angel, and he's like, oh, whatever, Aunt Tracy. But yeah, you need somebody, something, and a dog or a child. I always say, and you had 3, Bren. You had 3 kids having you go through it, and your husband. Yeah, so I definitely think that's my tip. Get a dog or a baby around you to help you through your recovery.
And I always tell therapists, like, when I do these presentations, like, people need a purpose. Like, we all need a purpose. So for me, like, learning how to walk again, even though they said I never would, it was like, I'm gonna walk my dog. Like, there's no, like, my sole purpose in learning how to walk, other than I knew I needed to get from place to place, and I was, I'm a little bit stubborn.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn. Okay.
Yeah. Me too. Are you a Taurus?
But I needed a purpose, so it was like walking, like Mookie, like the first dog was like, she, like, that was her thing, was like taking a walk. Like she wanted a walk. It was like it was like I couldn't let her down, right?
Yeah.
Like I just couldn't let the dog down. Right. And we never had children because of all of the medical complications and stuff. So my dogs,
they're your babies.
My dogs have, they are my babies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everybody needs a purpose. So and I tell them, like, even if it's something as small as walking a dog.
Yeah.
Being, I don't know, like looking over a plant, like even have a piece of like, your job is to water this plant and keep it alive. Something that is, You
need a reason to get out of bed.
Yeah.
And you need something that's going to keep driving you to, like you said, have a purpose and just to keep you motivated. I mean, I hit depression. I hit a depression, and I know it's a lot of chemical things in your brain. I'm still on antidepressants, but I can't imagine if I didn't have my nephew being born in July when I had this in January. So I had time to heal before he was born and gain some strength and gain some different techniques on how to get through things. I can't imagine if he wasn't born then what I would look like. Like, would I even get out of bed?
Yeah.
Would I have slipped into such a depression? Like, what's the use? I know I'm not going to go back to teaching. I know who knows where my mind would have taken me.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's so true. And I'm so happy that you share that with therapists and doctors and things. And when I go to different appointments, I say the same thing. Like, do your patients have a purpose? Do you emphasize that? Find something that they can be responsible for or help them through it. So the doctors really need to talk about that more with their patients, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a beautiful way to wrap up the conversation, Lisa, because clearly what you're doing by sharing is part of your purpose. I don't know if you think about that every day, but thank you so much for doing that.
Yes, thanks, Lisa.
Thank you for having me, and it was wonderful chatting and meeting you guys, and
finally getting to talk to you face to face.
I know, if you ever need me for anything, you know where to find me. So.
Well, absolutely. I look forward to talking to you again, and you're just a wealth of knowledge about our community and what's out there to help us. Like, you taught me so much. First of all, I would never consider myself a brain injured person, and I finally had to do that. So I do want to get more involved in that community. And then the glasses, I have to look into them. My glasses are so expensive because my left eye basically does nothing, and they won't even let me have contact lenses because this acts as a barrier to protect my one good eye.
Okay.
So, yeah, very, very informative. So I appreciate that.
It's just tripping on things, people telling you random things. And, I'm always looking to improve quality of life or whatever.
Yes.
Doing
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you join us again because I know we'll have plenty to talk about.
Well, you let me know. I always have stories and things to talk about.
Thank you.
All right. So after my surgery, we'll look like in the end of April or May. We'll have you back on.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Take care.
Thank
you.
Take
care. Bye-bye.